Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, happy Pokemon Day! It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to be talking about the news from the week, including rumors about Smash on Switch and HAL Labs' new game on mobile. Then come back on Thursday. We're going to be determining which is the single best Super Smash Bros. Game with special guest Richie Root.
Character.
What did I say?
Game.
I said which game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
definitively which character.
Right. There are a lot of characters.
So many.
In Smash. We come up with the best one. It's contentious. Some tears were shed.
But ends in harmony.
It ends in absolute harmony and total agreement.
And how could it not when it's the definitive answer?
Absolutely. Mark, exactly how could it not? How are you? Are you feeling those tears of joy now?
I am, yeah. I'm excited for people to hear it. I'm excited for people to learn for themselves the truth.
Yeah, and it's a good conversation. Richie's a great guy. Come back on Thursday. We don't need to sell Thursday's show too much. You should come back for Thursday's show.
Yeah, we'll put away the grease gun.
Right. Speaking of grease gun, the weather has been
chilly.
Today,
pleasant. I think it's because it's a little cloudy, threatening rain. So like the clouds are covering us like a blanket. It's a little bit warmer.
You know, my parents were in town this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
They live in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm. I'm listening.
And Florida.
Okay.
They're snowbirds.
Uh-huh.
They've been on this show, so fans of the show will remember Lyle and Jeannie. Every time they come out to LA, the weather, it's cold.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like I'm representing me. I'm doing this. I'm representing LA poorly when they come here and they experience cold weather or rainy weather. They want to go to the beach. They want to walk around in their sandals and shorts.
Maybe they're representing Wisconsin well.
Bringing it with them,
yes,
as it were. Our guest weather today is Santa Fe, New Mexico. It seems kind of chilly in Santa Fe.
Yeah, ooh, burr. I'm in Santa Fe, and it's 40 degrees.
Yeah, that seems like too much. They're in the middle of the desert. They got to be, right? Because all of New Mexico is.
As far as I know.
Big ups.
Biggest of ups.
To our listeners.
In Santa Fe, New Mexico. Albuquerque, wait your turn.
Yeah, sit down, Albuquerque. All of you New Mexicans getting big ups today, please step forward. Not so fast, Albuquerque folk. Take a seat. Mark, we've got two things that we need to cover before we get into the rest of the show. First is you might notice that we didn't say that we're going to be ranking the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time dungeons on Thursday's episode. We're putting that off a week. Mostly my fault, I feel. Again,
No. Let's put blame where it is due. Lyle and
Jeannie, they were in town this weekend
when it was cold.
Yep. And so I didn't get as much time to really lay into those dungeons. But it also gives us an opportunity to solicit a little bit more feedback from y'all. So we've got some good feedback already. I would love to hear more. If the whole episode is just you and me reading emails from people, man, that's my dream come true.
That'd be great.
So if you have any opinions about the dungeons in the Ocarina of Time, The Legend of Zelda, the Ocarina of Time.
And we should clarify, these can be bad opinions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't worry that your list isn't going to be as definitive as our list.
Right. I mean, it will, by definition, even if it's an identical list, be less definitive because we will generate the definitive list on the episode. It's okay. No one's mad. You can email any of your thoughts to Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. While you're there, why not share your regular mailing address? Regular mailing address? It's a physical mailing address so that you can borrow my copy of Sonic Forces on Switch. There is a little bit of a wait at the moment because the Switch is in transit. It's on its way to Canada now. International. We're gone. We on international, Mark. But yeah, get on that list, play Sonic Forces, doesn't cost you anything. Just email your address to Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. Mark, I think we've covered that. Let's get into what we've been playing this week. So I picked up Faye. And I've heard differing opinions on how this game is pronounced.
Okay.
How the name of this game. I've heard some people giving it almost like a second syllable, like Fea, which I think is wrong because it's 2 letters.
Is there a character in the game named Faye?
There's nothing that is named in the game.
Ah.
So, Faye, which I'm just going to continue to call Faye, is a sort of a platformer and like interactive, or it's like a platformer stealth game, right? But both the platforming elements and the stealth elements are obtuse. Like it is very hard to look at something and determine like, yes, I'm going to be able to jump over that. It's also there's no indication that like, oh, this guy's going to see me do this. So I find myself mostly frustrated by it. The game is beautiful. You play as like a little fox creature, and you're moving around this large world that's done in like the graphics are all very like stylized and cool looking, but like you're in the same basic environment for the entire course of the game. Sometimes there's snow and sometimes there's water, but like by and large, it feels like the same sort of wilderness over and over. And basically the like main mechanic of the game is you sing to animals, and when you learn their song, then you get one of their abilities. So like an early one that you get is the ability to climb trees, and then another ability you get is like a gliding ability. So, and on top of all of that, you're able to actually interact with the animals and get them to help you move around the map, seemingly just to sing to more animals. But the villains in this are like these kind of robots who are clearly just like gathering resources for they're like alien robots or whatever. They're chopping down trees and being bad guys. And every now and then you pick up like a little crystal thing and you get a flashback to like the robot's perspective. But only ever it's the kind of thing that like slows down a game that does like so little in terms of like story presentation, and then it's like, no, now you see just like a bunch of robots marching around and you're like, why am I doing this? I don't know. The game's got a lot of like neat ideas, but the overall package is just kind of deflating, and doesn't feel like a super cohesive package.
I feel like I ask this every time, but how much is this game?
$20.
Yeah.
$19.99. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it.
Have you completed it?
No.
Do you think you will go back to it at any point?
No, because the other thing that I've been playing is Super Mario Odyssey, the Luigi's Balloon World.
I have not checked it out
DLC.
yet.
It is awesome. I love it so much. So it is exactly what it claims to be, right? That you can go to kingdoms that you visited already and either hide a balloon or find balloons that other players have hidden. And like it's just so much fun. Every time you like start up in a new kingdom, it takes a little bit, a couple runs for you to like learn where people are hiding balloons normally. So you'll be like, oh yeah, 70 meters in that direction. I know where this one's hidden. And like, so you learn some of those like super easy ones, or like the obvious ones where like, yeah, everyone's gonna try to hide under like that little nook or whatever. And then it gets really exciting when people start hiding them in weirder places or like places that you don't expect. And it's also really fun to play a bunch of like finding a bunch of balloons and then hiding a balloon in a place you've never seen anyone else hide it. Like it's so dumb and so simple of like the goal is run to a specific point in this map, but it means there's like a limitless number of extra moons basically in the game for you to collect over and over and over again.
So what I was seeing on like Twitter and stuff when the update was released, when this new feature was released, that people were taking advantage of like clipping glitches, and so they were like clipping through the geometry and hiding the balloon in like impossible places. Have you run into that?
I have not encountered that.
Okay, that's great. That's
yeah,
because that was kind of in a weird way my like worry about like participating is that if it was broken.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure there are some instances where it will be broken, but like, you can get to the area around a balloon, and there's always like a little countdown of how many It says M, and I assume that's meters, but it could be Mario's. How many
Mario
Marios?
meters?
Yeah, how many Marios am I away? Mario meter. And if you freeze at any point, like the little arrow comes back that like indicates a direction, where the balloon is. So if you can see that there's one like trapped in the geometry or whatever, then you can just stop trying to get it.
Are you penalized?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like a common thing is it'll cost you 10 coins to try to seek out a balloon, and then you're rewarded like 120 coins for getting it. This is the fastest way and most fun way I've encountered to collect coins and like really hoard them. I got that skeleton suit over the weekend, and this is while my parents were here. And that's 9,999 coins. And I've already purchased a lot of the new outfits. There's the Sunshine outfit, the like Dark Souls Knight outfit, and another one which I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
There's a lot of costumes.
It's a musician. These are new outfits,
right?
That, like came with the update.
I'm just saying it's a lot to remember, all the different costumes.
Right. Okay, let's go through them all. There's the chef costume. But I love it. It's a reason to run back through all of those kingdoms that I already love. And I've only done like a handful of them, like spent time in a handful of them, and I just want to go back to those. Like I spent probably 2 hours in the Cascade Kingdom on Sunday morning, like woke up early before we were going to meet my parents for breakfast, and just played it just over, like didn't leave the Cascade Kingdom, and just did this the whole time, and like I just want to keep going back. It's super fun. I can't really explain why I like it.
Oh, good.
So much.
I was so bummed out when I was reading about all these like people that were like taking advantage of the glitches to like ruin the game basically. And so I'm glad you had a really positive experience, because that makes me excited to play it.
Check it out.
I haven't checked it out yet.
I mean, think of how many people you are actually able to use those glitches.
Yeah, that's true.
There's not that many people.
Right. I'm just thinking of like flashbacks to like Call of Duty and everybody like taking advantage of that. Right. Yeah. Oh, and just a preemptive debug. Obviously, if it was Mario meters, it would be MM, not M. So debug myself.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I haven't. So I didn't have a chance to check out the Luigi's Balloon World update because I was playing Ocarina of Time.
You were doing
on the 3DS.
homework.
I was doing the homework. But what a dream this homework is. So this was it's $20 for the 3DS version now. I had never played it before.
The 3DS version.
The 3DS version. It's amazing.
Yeah, right?
It's so much fun. It's so good. I mean, my complaints about it are kind of the same that probably if I played Ocarina of Time on the N64 would be, that like the controls are a little clunky.
Mm-hmm.
The camera is sometimes annoying. But so in general, I don't play with a 3D on my 3DS.
Yeah, sure.
And I eventually turned it off for this game only because aiming with like the gyro things on an original 3DS is not fun because you lose the 3D effect really easily. And I'm assuming that would be improved on a new 3DS because it has like the tracking.
Yeah, it is a little bit better, yeah.
But man, like I don't know, there was something, I think it was hitting those like nostalgia pleasure centers in my brain, that having it be in 3D just felt like so like immersive and cool and an interesting way to experience this game that I remembered.
I wonder if some of that is like when you first played Ocarina, that it felt like new in 3D and like immersive in a way you hadn't experienced before, and so like having the actual 3D on the 3DS now captures that same sort of feeling for you.
Yeah, maybe. It also just made me really want to play Breath of the Wild in 3D.
Oh my god.
With like those colors and everything.
Yeah.
I just think that would be so amazing. I hope I'm not turning it into a 3D booster, because that train has sailed.
No, that's right. These trains are in the water.
Yep.
And they are perfectly crewed, and they are sailing. The winds are at the train's backs.
This game has held up really well.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised. I can't even really remember the last time I played through the whole thing from beginning to end. And I'm a little bit grateful for this extra time, because I've been like cutting out all the side quests, trying to get through it. And I think this will give me a little more opportunity to enjoy the experience instead of just like always pushing ahead.
Yeah.
It's like guess I could go get Epona now.
Yeah.
Because before
go
I was
get her,
just
man.
like, oh, like that's garbage that I don't need to do because I just need to get great fairy fountains. No thanks. I'm just gonna go straight to the dungeon. So it'll be fun to do a little bit more of that.
I know you're not all the way done with it, but I think of the Ocarina of Time 3D as the definitive way to play this game now. Would you say that holds true for you too?
Oh yeah, I mean just like the quality of life improvements.
Mhm.
Having like the inventory. I haven't gone to the water temple yet, but I'm sure having the inventory at the bottom screen to like just quickly switch stuff out will be a lot nicer. And
Man, touchscreen inventory. I know that like we're never gonna get that again, but like it's just so handy in Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. It's great, and in Majora's Mask and Ocarina 3D, like it's. I don't want to say it's a game changer, but like the game feels less fussy.
yeah, it makes those like small annoyances a lot less annoying.
Well, those are some good games, Mark. Let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing next week.
Okay, today, February 27th, Payday 2 is coming out on the Switch. So this version seems to be getting like okay reviews.
It's a couple steps back from like the PC version, right?
Right. And I guess that the company Starbreeze doesn't have I think it's Starbreeze, doesn't have a great reputation for Payday 2 on consoles. And so people are a little like hesitant, not sure if they're actually going to continue to get upgrades, if performance will be improved with patches. It'll be interesting to see. I think for me, I'd be interested in checking it out. The big hesitation is it seems like, especially with no voice chat solution, that you would have to have 4 friends or like 3 friends or whatever that want to play.
Who could ever have 4 friends? That's too many.
Realistic expectations. Right. 3 friends who all have a Switch, who all want to own Payday 2, and who all can play at the same time as you. That seems like the only way that this game is like super enjoyable, and that feels like a lot of barriers.
Have you ever played Payday 2?
I haven't. I love the idea.
You love the idea
of a heist, right? That you're all like working together to pull off.
I played Payday 2 a little bit when it was on the PlayStation Network for freezies with PS Plus, and I wasn't coordinating with my teammates. I didn't have voice chat on or whatever, but it seemed almost impenetrable to me. I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing or how to survive, a shootout with the cops, which I probably wasn't even supposed to get into in the first place. But it's a little bit the same experience that I had with The Escapist 2, where it seems like the game is full of features and there's like this thriving world there, but I have zero understanding of any of it. And I just get lost and overwhelmed, and I don't want someone to show me how all of it works. I just want it to be simpler.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Especially, I feel like in an environment where this game has been out forever, and I would be coming into it new. So yeah, probably not going to be picking it up. Will be interesting to see how it performs on the Switch.
And this is one of those games that we knew about coming to the Switch very early, right?
Well, it was like, I think it was one of those surprise announcements in like September or something. Like we didn't know about it in January, and then when it was released, it was like, what?
Yeah.
Like it just seemed like a very random third party. But this was before, I think it was before we found out about Doom or Wolfenstein or anything.
Okay.
But I could be wrong.
Could be wrong. If we're wrong, email us Nintendo Cartridge Society
at gmail.com. But don't email me about Luigi's Balloon World and Mario or like M standing for Mario meters, because
I mean, unless you really know. And look, we'll jump out in front of this. I know that the levels in Donkey Kong, in the original Donkey Kong, are called 25M, 50M, 75M, and 100M. So we know that M is already, it's an established thing in Mario. We just don't know what it means.
Right. Oh, yeah, if you actually know the answer, let us know.
But if you're just going to say meters, like we're good.
We got it. February 28th, Bridge Constructor Portal is coming out. This is that, like, Portal adjacent game that is being released on a lot of platforms, including Switch.
Love Portal.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know how I feel about a bridge constructor game.
I would say I am not interested.
Not interested.
Hard not interested.
Are you not a Portal guy?
No, I like Portal.
Mm.
The bridge constructor part is where you lost me.
Mm.
Also interesting that there doesn't really seem, to my eyes, to be any like rhyme or reason to the date that games are released. It could be a Tuesday, it could be a Wednesday, it could be a Thursday.
Yeah.
You know, it could.
Games come out when they come out, man.
I guess. I'm old, and so I'm used to like music. I mean, now it all comes out on Friday, but music coming out on Tuesdays,
Well,
right? You know, like.
Do you remember there was a time or a period where Nintendo that was a period where Nintendo was putting games out on Sundays?
Yes, for a long time.
And now they're mostly on like their big games are coming out on Friday. Which I much prefer.
Yeah.
I have the whole weekend with them.
Yeah, much better.
Much better.
I remember going to a Best Buy to get Mario Kart Wii.
Yeah.
When it came out.
And
which was
Smash.
A Sunday. Yeah.
On Sunday. And they'd be like, well, we got to go to work tomorrow. What is this?
And then on March 1st, a bunch of Switch eShop releases. Laka is coming out. Which seems to be like an Ocarina of Time, Okami type 3D platformer adventure action game.
Yeah, and I think we saw this one on the second Indies Direct from just a couple months ago. So it'll be. I'm interested to see how this one lands with people, and you know, it'll be one that I feel a little bit burned by Faye, so I'm gonna keep my distance. I'm not gonna be the vanguard on this one, testing it out. We'll see.
And then the Neo Geo game up for the week is Sengoku 2.
I don't know a lot about Sengoku, but it looks like a cross between like a samurai movie and Final Fight, which is just cool. It's a side-scrolling like beat 'em up multiplayer where you can, you know, take control of samurai characters and beat up other samurai characters.
There's something very appealing about samurai.
Yeah, well, they're cool.
They're very cool.
You know what the coolest part about samurai are? Ronin.
Yes.
It's a wandering samurai with no master, no home, nothing but the sword in his sheath.
Oh, no ties to anything.
Mark, do we need to give up all of our earthly possessions?
We would be such bad samurai.
I
We
agree.
would be miserable. We would be so bad at it.
We could still podcast though, right?
I assume so. There has to be a lot of Ronin podcasts. And then of course, we're gonna debug Magical Drop 2, which was last week's Neo Geo release. I felt very confident that it was a platformer of some sort. One of the, I believe I said, rare platformers on the Neo Geo. That, of course, turned out to be absolutely incorrect.
Just not right at all.
It's a puzzle game. I don't count any of these self-debugs against me. You know, we have the big tally of
very
debugs
generous of you.
because they're self-debugs.
Right,
you know
right,
what
right.
I'm saying?
No, I agree. I think anytime you self-debug, you know, you are elevating yourself in the eyes of the Lord, and you will surely earn your way into the kingdom of heaven.
Forever and ever, amen.
All right, Mark, let's get out of the new releases. Now it's time for a regular segment on our show. It's time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or a group of performers did not play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So, for the duration of one performance of 433, Mark and I will talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Mark, let's talk about jewelry today. You and I aren't big jewelry men. I saw your wedding ring.
Yes.
And it's what made me think of jewelry at all. Do you have a history of wearing any kind of jewelry beyond?
No, I wore a watch for a while. It was never like a fancy watch.
Yeah.
But I always liked having one off and on over the years. And then I guess probably like when I got a cell phone, it just seemed redundant.
Right, because you already have a timekeeping. When so I went to college for a year in my hometown. And you know, so it was like a immediately after high school. And one of the things that I remember about high school was there was always a clock. Like anywhere I looked, there was just always a clock. I always knew what time it was. And in college, there just weren't clocks in the hallways because it's like, you're an adult, you keep track of your own timer. I don't know.
Right, and it's not like every class begins and ends on the same schedule.
Right, and it's also not like a class ends, you have 10 minutes to get to your next class or whatever. It's college, is what I'm saying. You have a much more fluid schedule. And I remember just thinking, like, man, if I could turn all of these people that I don't want to see from high school into clocks, that would be great. What I needed was a watch. But I've also just never been a jewelry guy in any capacity. I think my grandmother bought me a gold bracelet for like my first communion or confirmation or some Catholic rite that I actually participated in. That had my like Catholic name written on it, like engraved in it. And I remember thinking, like, someday I'm going to sell this thing. But now I don't know where it is.
Oh, no.
So I can't even do that.
If you were to get a piercing.
Mm.
Wait, have you ever had a piercing?
No, I've never.
Oh, yeah, I've never had a piercing either.
My uncle used to threaten to pierce my ears.
Oh.
I don't have a good relationship with Jim. But it's like a thing that he used to like joke like, oh yeah, we'll take Patrick down to the mall and get his ears pierced.
Oh, so not like a threatening like I'm gonna pierce your ears.
No.
Oh, that's what I was imagining.
I mean, I would still like run away screaming because I was like 4 and didn't want my ears pierced or
right.
something,
If you were to get a piercing,
yeah,
where would you get it? Like nose, eyebrow, ear, lip?
I don't think I would do lip. I don't want anything getting in the way of eating. I don't like it when my mustache is too long, right? It is right now, by the way. I need to trim it. It's getting in the way of eating. I don't know. Piercings don't really do anything for me. Like
death isn't an option. You have
to get
choose.
one.
Yeah.
All right. Eyebrow, a bar.
A bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? Death is an option.
Oh, okay. I choose death.
No, come on. You do not choose death.
Yeah, I choose to die.
No, come on.
No, it's like, do you want to get an ear pierced? And I'd be like, no, just kill me. Just take the piercing gun in my jugular and let's just end this. But if death was not an option, I guess I would do. I think I would look so stupid with all of them. I think I would do maybe like on the nose, like just a little like stud in the nostril.
Here's the thing, like I feel like it usually looks good on people, right? Like the people who have them usually look good with a piercing.
Right, but that's like a self-selecting group. That's like fashion
that's a good point.
in
That's a good
general.
point.
It's
Yeah.
like people who get tattoos.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, like not everybody who gets a tattoo looks great with them, but most people do because it's an aesthetic that they have like
They've
groomed
cultivated already
for themselves. Yeah. I feel like it doesn't match my like personality or aesthetic.
Let me ask you this. Tongue piercing, where do you stand?
Again, it's like one of those things where it's like for other people, I'm fine with it.
I don't even know if I'm fine with it on other people.
I mean, anybody?
Everyone like live your life, but like I don't know that I've ever seen someone's tongue piercing and been like, word.
I agree with that. I feel that way about like lip piercings. I think very rarely, like especially like, or I'm thinking of like the one that's like on like the goatee part, like on the chin.
Oh, sure.
It's like coming through there.
It's kind of like a gauge almost. Like a big. I don't know that I'm just using language.
Oh,
I don't know how
a
it works.
gauge would be really interesting there because it would be a giant hole.
Right. So you would stick a straw in and have your chocolate milk. I knew a. Oh,
well, we'll never know.
We'll never know what I knew. We were accompanied today by an orchestra conducted by Lawrence Foster. All right, Mark. Enough of that nonsense. Let's get into the news.
Big news. Today, Tuesday, February 27th, is Pokemon Day. 22 years ago today, Pokemon Green and Red were released in Japan.
Well, happy Pokemon Day.
Happy Pokemon Day to you too.
I'll be celebrating in private.
We all celebrate in our own way.
We all celebrate in our own way.
As part of Pokemon Day, for me at least, the most exciting part, even though I own neither of these devices, Pikachu Talk is launching on Google Home and Amazon Alexa. So I assume if you have like a dot or something, it should work.
Yeah, sure.
You can ask Pikachu questions and he'll respond with helpful information like Pika Pika or Pika or of course
Pika!
So that's fun.
So wait a minute. If you're to talk to your Alexa right now and you say, "Hey Alexa," wait, how do you make it talk like Pikachu?
So I assume that they're again owning neither of these devices.
Right.
I assume it's like a option or maybe an app you download to it or something. So you're like, Alexa, turn on Pikachu talk.
Right. So now
And
we
then it,
just
like,
now,
turns it
now we
on.
just got the Amazon devices. Let's do the okay Google, talk like Pikachu now.
Right, something like that.
Right.
Uh,
So if this is playing like in the room, we've made these devices.
well, I assume they're voice specific. Is that not true?
No, you're right.
But maybe that doesn't make sense because didn't like Burger King trigger everybody's Alexas or something?
And there was also like an episode of South Park.
Yeah, do we sound 1,000,000 years old or are we just 1,000,000 years old?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we're turning to dust as we record this.
It was some nefarious thing like Burger King or South Park.
There are also some Snapchat lenses and a special Pikachu wearing a festive hat that you can capture in Pokemon Go. It's all in good fun.
Yeah, it's great fun. Go celebrate Pokemon Day.
So I say that if for some reason, I mean, I don't think there's any chance this is happening, but there's a wild rumor out there that
a wild rumor has appeared.
A wild rumor has appeared that they're going to announce Generation 8 on Pokemon Day. But let's make this pact. Let's make this pact.
All right,
if they do,
right,
we will record a special episode. Where we just like apologize profusely for saying that there was no chance it was going to happen.
Right. Okay.
And then we'll of course talk about whatever announcement there is, which there will not be.
Right. So then that would preempt any previously recorded Richie Rude episode.
No. I'm saying I am saying tomorrow. Or
extra bonus episode.
Extra bonus episode.
Okay. If Gen 8,
a Mea Culpa episode.
Mm-hmm. So what would that entail? Generation 8. That means like proper Switch, new Pokemon.
Right. New region potentially.
Yeah. Okay. Then we'll come right back here tomorrow and record again, and
just like apologize to all the nerds we just said, or we're bind into a fake stupid rumor. Agreed?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, great.
It is a fake and stupid rumor, though.
HAL Laboratory, developer of games like Super Smash Brothers, lots of Kirby games, Kid Icarus Uprising, and Pocket Card Jockey, of course, have released their first mobile game, Time UFO. It goes for $3.99 on iOS and Android, contains no in-app purchases, and released yesterday.
Yeah. I picked this game up today when I discovered that it was available. I didn't know. Do you have any idea this was coming down the pipe? It's great. It's super cute and is clearly the kind of game that they would have been developing and putting out on 3DS. But 3DS is, for some, a dead platform. Possibly not for Nintendo, depending on whether you believe a news item later down on this segment here. But so you control a cute little UFO, and you control him with like a virtual thumbstick and just a little crane button, and you perform like menial tasks for people. So the first level is this guy has crates of oranges that he needs loaded into his truck, and you like drop the crane down and you put the oranges in the truck, and you get extra points for doing it fast. You get extra points for like special completion conditions. So like you put all the oranges in the little green thing, and then you put the green thing in the truck. Or all of the boxes are facing up the right direction, and you get extra little points, and then you can buy little outfits for your UFO, and it's adorable, and I love it.
I saw that QB, like there's like a badge or something you earn, like
I think
he
an
shows
outfit
up or like
that's the box boy main character.
Interesting, of course, that HAL Laboratory is so associated with Nintendo, but is its own completely separate company that doesn't always make Nintendo products. I'm going to preemptively debug myself here. Kid Icarus Uprising, not developed by HAL Laboratory. That was Project Sora, led by Sakurai.
You are correct. That's my fault. I put that in there. Thank you for taking
that bullet.
You're just into this debugging yourself
I'm a
thing.
hero. Bloomingdale's has announced a partnership with Nintendo. Together, the companies are starting a Let's Play line of Nintendo branded merchandise. I would wear all of these.
They all look good. There's like swim trunks that have a little like Mario Kart, like 16-bit. Actually, everything I like is 16-bit on this. There's a hoodie that has like the one-up mushroom and a super mushroom, sort of like in the pocket area. There's some Yoshi socks. It all looks good.
It starts March 10th in select stores and it will be available at bloomingdales.com/Nintendo. Yasuhiro Wada, famed creator of Harvest Moon, has announced a new title that he is developing with Axis Games. The game is called Little Dragons Cafe and is due out late summer 2018 on Switch and PlayStation 4. So it's not a Harvest Moon game.
It is not a Harvest Moon game. Looks kind of neat. Is not even like a farming game. You play as a pair of twins, brother and sister, who are like running a cafe, and they have to raise a dragon because their mother like falls ill or something. It looks. I mean, I'm excited for this thing. I like the original Harvest Moon. It sounds weird and quirky in Japanese, and like has still some of those like sim elements of running a business and also raising a dragon. So yeah, I don't know. It seems like
Is it not that you necessarily know? Is it a full retail release or is it like a downloadable type
I don't know.
game?
That's a good question.
It does sound fun.
Time will tell.
Emily Rogers, former games industry reporter and current game developer, is also moderator on the Reset Era forums, and she shared a little bit of info about what she's heard concerning Super Smash Brothers on Switch, rumored to come later this year.
Which is pretty exciting.
It's rumored that the game is going to combine the Wii U and 3DS versions of Smash, so take the unique elements of both and put it into one like super package. Also include some new content. It's one of those things where we're not really sure if it's going to be a like marketed as like a deluxe edition, a entirely new game, because
so this is the part that I wasn't totally clear on. That it did seem like from the threads that I read on Reset Era that she wasn't totally sure what it is either. Just that there will be a new Switch game coming in 2018 that is either like someone even asked like, so is this going to be like a DX version of Smash 4 or something totally new? And she's like, I don't know. What I do know is there is something. It will be announced and released this year.
Sounds kind of like a Splatoon situation where originally before Splatoon 2 was fully revealed as a sequel, there was speculation that it was just a deluxe version of the original Splatoon.
Right. Well, and like at some point, like if you're not radically changing the formula on something, like what really is the difference between a sequel and like a souped up version of it? You know what I mean? Especially with Smash, when like, all you keep doing is just like adding characters and adding levels and features and stuff. Like you just add more features and you're like, is this a new game now? Or is it just a bigger version of the old game?
Right. And we previously speculated that it'll be releasing in September along with Nintendo's online platform.
You bet we did.
It's pure speculation, but count on it.
It's absolutely count on it. Just like you can count on our definitive pick of the best Smash Brothers character. Tune back in on Thursday for that.
When you're right, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
The 3DS will not die.
Tell me why this is true, Mark.
So, market research firm NPD released its January sales report for the video game industry last week, and they indicated that the 3DS had its best January sales since 2013 in terms of units sold.
What's happening there? Why is this happening? Why is the 3DS still? Is it just because the library is unbeatable? Are people excited about Detective Pikachu?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I guess like the 3DS is the most affordable it's ever been, especially including like the 2DS in there. It's a good system with an amazing library, and maybe it's also just like kind of like brand halo type thing. Like people are excited about
about
Nintendo,
Nintendo generally.
and it's a the price of entry is a lot lower than a Switch.
And you've got Fire Emblem and Pokemon games on it.
Yeah,
to,
and
to
a
beat
Smash
the
Brothers
band.
game,
Yep.
and a Mario Kart game,
and a Mario Maker, and the Yoshi's Woolly World. That was maybe the least impressive one.
but it's
one,
there.
But it is there.
It's got Poochie.
Also, I mean, it's worth. You're right. It does have Poochie. Poochie preempts Yoshi in the title. It's Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World, re-alphabetizing the game entirely, which drives me nuts. But just thinking back to last year, or I guess 2016 Christmas time, 3DSs were hard to come by.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Pokemon had just come out.
Yeah, absolutely. And our friend Fadl, who was our first guest on this show, like episode 5 or something, we talked about Luigi's Mansion. Go back in the archives and check it out. We didn't know what we were doing. He was having a hard time finding a 3DS so we could play Sun and Moon. And so I wonder if they've just like fixed those supply line issues, and people they're finally like selling out to their real capacity now.
Yeah, I have declared the 3DS dead more times than...
You've done it tonight in this episode.
Did I?
I think so, yeah.
Am I becoming so loose with declaring the 3DS dead that I don't even think about it anymore?
Here's the thing. We make a lot of declarations on the show. We declare things as definitive, and we are right to do so. We are without flaw, and sometimes that means that we'll declare something as dead. Is it dead? Yes. Does it continue to live? Also, yes.
Yeah, it's Schrodinger's 3DS.
That's right.
Finally, I'm sad to report there are no updates on the Billy Mitchell Donkey Kong Records controversy this week. I should maybe do a little Googling and see if it has progressed any further.
I think when it progresses, the news will get to us.
I mean, we will, of course...
We will report on it.
Yeah.
And keep you updated. If you have any information about the Billy Mitchell Records debacle...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Email us at Nintendo Cartridge Society
at gmail.com. I feel sheepish we haven't said that before.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got a hot lead on this, and like a real hot lead, like I want like hard evidence, right? That's what we need.
But we protect sources, so...
Absolutely. We have integrity here at Nintendo Cartridge Society. All right, Mark, let's get out of the news. That is going to do it for this episode of the show. Remember, please rate, review, subscribe, and all that good stuff on Apple Podcast. If you liked this episode. If you like this episode of this show or any episode we've ever done, share it on Twitter and Facebook and all that good stuff. It helps us out a lot. If you want to follow us on Twitter, I'm at Patrick_Ellers. Mark is at MKE Mitchell, and collectively we are at Nin Cart Society. The Facebook page is just Nintendo Cartridge Society. If you like Mark and Mine's opinions, we do write about comic books on retconpunch.com. Olivia Duncan made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can find more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Eller saying thank you for listening.
Campfire.